Islam, Moors, peace, assalamu alaikum, shalom. I just want to say a couple of things, you know what I mean, because it's just crazy, yo. Nobel Drew Ali is the prophet. There's a lot of dirty Moors out here talking about, oh, Nobel Drew Ali didn't bring this, and Nobel Drew Ali didn't bring that. Well, the prophet said that I brought everything to save a nation. Now, save yourself and then go live for humanity, right? If you don't do anything else, claim your nationality, right? So, in those regards, he knew that we were being taken advantage of. That the whole time it was projections, okay, that was projected to us to be so-called black. All right? So-called black. Because black is this turban that I got on my head. And the rims of my glasses are black. Okay? I don't think you're supposed to identify with black because black is a false and artificial identity, okay, that was given to the Aboriginal Moors of the Americas, right, to put them in servitude, all right, and to steal land and to run amok, bamboozle, confuse, and to rule, basically. They took our sciences and mastered them with masonry. That's where masonry comes from, us. Okay? Nobel Drew Ali, he brought civics. Guaranteed he did. The first temple was the holy science temple. Yeah, the Moorish holy science. No, yeah. And that was started in Newark, New Jersey in 1913. And Nobel Drew Ali just was absolutely a prophet. And there was a lot of dirty Moors that sabotaged what he did after his demise. And that's why our movement of the world is stagnant now. Nobel Drew Ali went to Havana, Cuba, Pan American Conference, okay, and he was recognized worldwide, okay. So why these Moors that's now incorporated with the Moorish Science Temple not doing their jobs? Not uplifting fallen humanity, thinking that it's an organization and this is not a divine movement. At the current time, you know what I mean, the door to the Moorish mysteries, you know what I mean, is opening far and wide. The age of Pisces is at the end and the Moors are coming to receive their inheritance. Yes. Receive the inheritance. Okay. Drew Ali instigated, okay, this process when he returned to America and released a publication known as the Circle 7 Quran. Okay. While Drew Ali did not deliver the concise formula as was clearly delineated in synchronicity And the seventh seal, he represented the energy and was the energy of such. Drew Ali was very much a part of the mythos and reality that enabled me to write the book. Okay? What Drew Ali wrote was geared towards a format that would be accepted by its people at that particular time. It apparently worked quite well. When the Moorish science reached its peak in 1929, it was on the heels of one of the greatest but most dangerous discoveries Drew Ali ever made. In 1928, Ali attended a Pan-American conference in Havana, Cuba, where he enjoyed broad recognition from a host of other countries. A Pan-American conference in Havana, Cuba, where he enjoyed broad recognition from a host of other countries. They were, of course, recognizing his sovereign status as a Moorish national who was representing the ancient empire of Amexem. Keep in mind that other countries had no reason to fear Drew Ali or what he represented. It was at this conference, however, that he received a document which was to change the face of Moorish science forever and will eventually lead to what is known as the Great Schism. That is the name the Moorish community uses to refer to the dispersal of Moorish science into different groups. The document Drew Ali received was a copy of a mandate whereby the Amexem Empire extended a land grant of the entire Western Hemisphere to certain Europeans. I have not yet seen the document, and its exact contents are highly mysterious, yet its ramifications literally turned the United States of America upside down. Essentially, it led America to a certain party for a particular number of years, not unlike the way China leased Hong Kong to Great Britain. The lease was up in 2004. It is entirely responsible to believe that such a document, if it still exists and can be brought to light, is a mere relic or a long-forgotten era that has no significant meaning in today's legal system. That will be fine except for one very important point. If you have truly studied the detailed legal history of the United States of America, you will understand that there is more than a little truth to the prospect of there being such a document. Why? The entire legal history of the United States is predicated on such a proposition. What is known is that Secretary of State Hughes from the U.S. government attended the Pan American Conference and was made privy to this mandate. So were several other heads of state. As a result, a closed-door conference between several nations was held in Geneva, Switzerland, and a labyrinth series of discussions and negotiations began. The Geneva Conference went on for some 5 years, but records are still kept sealed to this day. To this very day, it is known that several international banks called in their loans as a result of this potential legal threat, and the stock market crashed in 1929. Several countries, which included the United States, Portugal, France, and Spain, declared bankruptcy in order that relevant powers could buffer themselves from any potential legal claims. In the case of the United States of America, it was reorganized with a new corporate legal status. Franklin Roosevelt was part and parcel of the entire plan when he abolished the gold standard and created the New Deal. Now let me read that again. Now when us Moors say we part and parcel, that means we part and parcel of the land. Now you have it in this case, okay? It says right here, in the case of the United States of America, it was recognized with a new corporate legal status. Franklin Roosevelt, a fraud. Okay? You're not Aboriginal. Okay? Was part and parcel of the entire plan when he abolished the gold standard and created New Deal. Federal Reserve notes were then issued in place of gold-backed currency. The Great Seal of the Moors was used on the back of the notes. So that means, so if the gold standard was stopped at that time and Drew Ali bankrupted, that means that he probably said, no, you can't use this gold anymore because that belongs to the Moors, and you're going to have to use another, you're going to have to find another way to run business. Okay? So they did. And now they use you as the commodity. Okay? They flipped the scene. And then you have some of these dirty Moors out here that's right along with it. Okay? Or unstudied. Okay? Or COINTEL agents. You see what I'm saying? You have, you know, a couple of boxes that you can really, you know, choose from. It's either one, you unstudied. Two, you COINTEL agent. And just three, you know, you just follow and do whatever. You know what I mean? You just running around. You're not studying nothing. You just, you know, followers of these dirty Moors, and you're not doing research and searching things for yourself. So you might be in limbo within that. You know, us Moors, we learn from each other. Okay? We learn from each other. And we try to keep each other on point. And, you know, if you don't understand that, well then, well, okay, that's okay. You know what I mean? But let's get back into this. So people behind the Geneva Conference were so concerned about any potential boomerangs from the Moorish issue that they began a full borrowed character assassination of Moorish heritage. So that's when they play, and you know, you see all these policy enforcers, and you tell them you're a Moorish national, like more who? Or when you talk to these people in their courtrooms, you know what I mean, you state that you're a Moorish national and you're a noble, they be like, who? Because they already know one thing, that they're not de jure. So they have to think and make you into a sovereign citizen. You know, it was a lot of slanderous things too. You know what I mean? As far as SPLC got concerned, you know, they are a very slanderous corporation of lawyers that's down with the bar associations, and the bar associations don't make you lawyers. You just attorneys that's working for governments or corporations that legally doing the works of Rome, putting our people in slavery, and you know, trading them on stocks and bonds. You know what I mean? But Franklin Roosevelt was part and parcel of the entire plan when he has abolished the gold standard and created the New Deal. Federal Reserve notes were then issued in place of gold-backed currency. The Great Seal of the Moors was used on the back of the notes. Okay? So that's why when you look at the $1 bill, okay, the Great Seal of the Moors is on the back of the note. Okay? So people were talking about, oh, what do you mean? That's the Illuminati seal. We are the Illuminati. You just went to sleep and you let somebody else take your place as the Illuminati. So now they took everything and transversed to everything to the left. Okay? Because we are righteous people. So they can't go where we righteous go. They have to go to the left. They have to make things satanic. They got to make the Baphomet, which is Muhammad. You feel what I'm saying? These people, okay, is what they secrecies and they cults. You know what I mean? It's just for hidden truths to thrive so they can rule. Okay? Let's get out of the babiness. Let's get out of the scariness. You know what I mean? And let's just understand that these people are playing games. Okay? And these games are detrimental to your survival and your life. Okay? You know what I mean? And then you got people back. Well, what I'm supposed to do? Oh, da 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 da. Well, that's why you have to learn how to be self-sufficient, learn the Constitution, learn your laws, stand by your laws, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That's what the Moors stands for. We stand for that. We stand for lifting father humanity, putting the mother back on the matriarch, where she belongs. Honor thy mother and father. That's what the Moors stand for. Okay? All right? So, you just have to have peace in your heart. You know what I mean? And I've been talking to some Moors that's trying to challenge me. You know, they want to, you know, say little comments, this, that, and the third. Well, that's cool, Mo. You gonna have to answer to some of the things that you do. We all have to answer to some of the things that we do. Well, we all got to answer to most of the things that we do, if they're not righteous, right? There's always consequences for everything that you do. You might get away with it today, but you have some kind of way you might pay. That's why you have to learn how to govern thyself and know that you are righteous anyway, naturally. You know what I mean? It's just that it's just carnal pleasures on the regular plane. You see what I'm saying? Making you want to get all this stuff. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when you do get all this stuff, are you satisfied? Or do you want some more stuff? Or you want to just consume? You just want to be greedy? Okay? We can't be like that, yo. We have to learn to love instead of hate. Now, they said the Federal Reserve notes were then issued in the place of gold-backed currency. The Great Seal of the Moors was used on the back of the notes. People behind the Geneva Conference were so concerned about any potential boomerangs from the Moorish issue that they began a full-barreled character assassination of Moorish heritage. The most flagrant example of this was when two master masons put together the infamous Amos and Andy show. And they used their own people. To clown our movement. That's why it's almost been 100 years since we had some kind of liberation. Moorish Science Temples was left by the Prophet. So why only a few people know about it? Why I had to wait till I got into my adult life to really find out about Nobel Drew Ali? Why? Because these things are kept secret because they don't want you to know. They want to keep putting you in servitude. They want to keep taking advantage of you. They want to keep using your energy and your labor. That's what they want to do. I know you have to take care of your family. Know these things. But at the same time, do you have to be inflicted upon, chastised, killed, murdered for your rights to be a human being? Your unalienable rights to be what your Creator made you? That's a question you should ask yourself. Now, began a full-barrel character assassination of Moorish heritage. The most flagrant example of this was when the two master masons put together the infamous Amos and Andy show. And it became the first national syndicate radio show in history. It was deliberately designed to spoof the Moorish Science Temple by lampooning them as the mystic order of the Knights of the Sea. And callously referred to them as sardines. Very disrespectful. They didn't even give y'all a creed. They gave them a whole mixture of fish. That's what sardines are, a whole mixture. There's just anything thrown in there. Anything thrown in there. They don't care. Look at the audacity of these people playing us. Then they run around with our fezzes on, playing us. But this is what these people do. But when you walk around with your fez on, you know what I mean? They want you to take it off. Take it off for what? This belongs to me. My mother gave this to me. Let me repeat that again. My mother anciently gave the fez to me because I am her son and she is the widow. Okay? The Immaculate Conception. Now, from one perspective, this can be viewed as hysterically funny. Yeah, it can be viewed as like hysterically funny from one perspective. And who perspective that should be? Huh? Europeans. That's perspective. The ones that's in power. You know, and the ones that think it's funny that's been, you know, peer pressure to think it's funny because they don't really know what's really going on. So they really laughing at themselves. If you look like me, you're laughing at yourself. The Moors did everything, and we had things that we supposed to have karma for. Karma is what it is, and it's coming for you, good or bad. But now Allah has redeemed us and ordained certain people to awaken the people, to get the people on a no stand, not a believe stand, a no stand. Know thyself. And by knowing thyself, you need to know history, what your ancestors did. You need to know law so you can stand up when uncivil things are happening, especially things against humanity, especially the first people on earth, mothers of civilization. But we run around here want to call our women bitches and do this, that, and the third. They're not bitches. That's a dog. You know what I mean? We are human beings. We're supposed to be over animals. Okay? We're supposed to conduct ourselves righteously and with honor and fearlessness. But it is what it is. So now we're going to get back to these master masons that put together this infamous Amos and Andy show. And it became the first national syndicate radio show in history. It was deliberately designed to spoof the Moorish Science Temple by lampooning them as the mystic order of the Knights of the Sea and callously referred to them as sardines. From one perspective, this can be viewed as hysterically funny, especially when you consider that the dignitaries were given titles such as the swordfish, the mackerel, and the kingfish. On the other hand, it was deliberately and maliciously act of intent designed to portray any more as the most laughable example of what could be termed the lowest common denominator. Not long after Amos and Andy had its national debut, Drew Ali was arrested and mysteriously died. Arrested and mysteriously died. And then I understand why. Because the police beat him up, and then these dirty Moors put our prophet in their hands so he can be beat. And put a coup inside the Moorish Science Temple. That's why we are still in this position, Moors. That's why you have some of these sheiks in these temples talking about, oh, you need to come and join the Moorish Science Temple and da-da-da-da. Well, okay, join the Moorish Science Temple. Are you going to give us everything what the prophet gave us? I'm just asking. I just want to know, are you going to give us everything that the prophet gave us? Are you? Just asking. But, you know what I mean? Because any good Mo will ask questions. You know what I mean? Like, is this up on the de jure 805 LICS? You know what I mean? You know, making sure if that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? Because some of these temples are up on the 503c1. What? 503cs? And they think that's something that's not that ain't how the prophet left it. Yeah. 805 IC ILCS 110. But we just want to know the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the unadulterated truth. You know what I mean? Because we living in Al-Moroccan times. Yeah, I said Al-Moroccan times. That's what we living in. And it's time to be unveiled. Okay? It's time to know, Moors. Yeah. It's time to know. So, Moorish Science Temple, by lampooning them as the mystic order of the Knights of the Sea, and miraculously, you know, this is when laughable example of what could be termed the lowest common denominator. And then, let me see, where was that? Okay, yeah. Not long after Amos and Annie had his national debut, Drew Ali was arrested and mysteriously died. This has been ignored by both history and conspiracy books. So you're trying to tell me nobody wrote about this, about Drew Ali dying? They didn't make a documentary. They didn't do none of this. You know why? Because they had to kill the prophet, to sweep it up under the rug, to reinvert, revamp, reconstruct, so it can function in the way it's functioning today. That's why. Common sense will tell you that. Common sense will tell you that. Just being in tune or just vibrating. This has been ignored by both history and conspiracy books. When you see how integrally connected the Moors are to the history of the world, let alone the United States, you see that they are guideposts to the true history of the planet. This is the lamp of illumination. Lamp of illumination. Lamp of illumination. The hermit lamp from the Tarot that the secret societies have long paid tribute to in their writings. By reason of our social conditioning, it seems utterly preposterous that the old Moorish Empire could have an actual court of law legal claim on this country. Conversely, it appears that world leaders have been deathly afraid of such and have even prepared themselves to legally avoid the inevitable. So they getting prepared, you dummies. You are helping them prepare. You are helping them prepare to when these grand sheiks talking about they U.S. citizens. Dred Scott case. You can't be a U.S. citizen because U.S. citizen is not for you, it's for Europeans. You the American citizen. Okay? Moorish American national. Okay? That's what this country was set up on, duality. Now let's get back. By reason of our social conditioning, it seems utterly preposterous that the old Moorish Empire could have an actual court of law legal claim on this country. Conversely, it appears that world leaders have been deathly afraid of such and have even prepared themselves to legally avoid the inevitable. Once again, the Moors show themselves to be hardwired into the infrastructure of our consciousness as well as the historical paper trail. Islam. I rise, giving all perfect praise to Allah, His Prophet, in these days, Nobel Drew Ali, and the forerunner, Marcus Mozart Garvey L. In the spirit of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, I greet you. In 1928, El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali, known to the world as Nobel Drew Ali, attended the Pan American Conference in Havana, Cuba. At said conference, also attended by the not invited Secretary of State. Attended by the not invited Secretary of State for the United States of America. Our prophet received from the nations of America the mandate recognizing the Moors' claim to the Americas and simultaneously the expiration of the Europeans' mandate to occupy Moorish lands in the Western Hemisphere. As the USA's first victim of COINTELPRO, our prophet returned to the States to find his temple in turmoil, which indirectly led to his transition from this world. As known to the Moors, receipt of this mandate directly resulted in the U.S. stock market crash that occurred less than a year later. The nations of the earth, complicit in the denial of Moorish nationality. In the denial of Moorish nationality. Moorish nationality. In the denial. Okay? Knew they had best pull out of the system before everything on the North American landmass could be nationalized, including their ill-gotten assets and interests. Before his transition, our prophet warned the Moors at that time they would not realize what was brought to them for at least 50 years. 50 years. Okay? Not coincidentally, the 50-year mark was the decade that produced the Moors currently most active in ensuring the prophet had his way, including myself. Our prophet ensured that once the Moors finally came into their own around the year 2000, when most of us had reached the age of maturity and woke up to the realization of who they were, all they would have to do is wake up and carry out the law. Islam. Our prophet was right and exact in his statement that one day the Moors would love him. I love him now. And to my death, I love him. When one realizes what was he brought to his people and how it was delivered unto him, the seeing and knowing cannot help but appreciate the prophet's absolute genius to prevent its suppression. The mandate was included as the opening section of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Circle 7, where it is protected by the religious freedoms codified in the statutes of the United States. Okay? The seal of our nation can be found on the one fiat debt note our prophet knew we will always have access to, the $1 bill. Those who contest this will be hard pressed to find another national currency with two seals, national or otherwise. So that what makes the dollar bill unique. Okay? Got two dual sides. One for the Moors, one for the European. Okay? And that government, you see what I'm saying, letting you know that the land of the mound builders is the Moors, and the ego is for the ones that just run around here hawking shit. You see what I'm saying? Let's just put this in perspective. All right? These people is on our land. Okay? They are showing us no regard. They are murdering us in the street with their policy enforcers. Okay? They are targeting Moors. They are trying to put them on the codes, just like they're trying to put us when we woke up and found out that we're not black, colored, Negro, African American, none of that bull crap. Okay? We are Moors, Aborigines. Just identify me as a Moor or Aboriginal or Aborigine. Don't call me black, because I'm not that. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about there. And I just want y'all Moors to know that, you know, we just got to be studious and do our due diligence. And all you Moors that come to me and try to talk slanderous things and, oh, where you get your authority from and this, that, and the third. Well, I get my authority from the prophet. I get my authority from Allah. I get my authority from this divine national movement, this divine Moorish national movement. That's why I get my authority from. And all you trolls out there, you know what I mean, that want to slander good Moors, good faithful Moors, you know what I mean, your time is coming. You know what I mean? Sometimes y'all need to just be careful about how y'all say things and do things. And treat other Moors with respect. And if you don't agree with some of the teachings, okay, well then there's other ways how you can should show love. Or there's other ways that we can talk, or because see, right now we don't need to have confusion. And then on top of that, we don't need any type of fighting. Okay, because that's just oxymoron. Like we're not doing anything but